Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Ike Mma show or the Ike MMA podcast, whichever one you prefer. And I'm enjoyed in the studio by a very new guest, Mr. Liam Patel, Muay Thai kickbox. I mean, looking at your records, God, it's you told me 13 wins and just one loss. I mean, I don't know why I'm not hearing a lot more about you. Because that's bloody impressive. That's really, really good. But look, Liam, how are you feeling? How are you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. It's a pleasure to be invited on the show by you. Watched some of your videos and listened to a couple of your podcasts before and stuff, like Mom and Nathan Benden and stuff as well. Yeah, man,
Ah.
it's a pleasure to be invited on the show. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. You saw the interview with Nathan Benden I did.
Mm, mm,
Okay. Well, I always finish any podcast or interview that I've done with any fighter or anyone affiliated with combat sports, and I always feel, God, what did I do in that interview that I could have done a lot better? Because I always feel somewhat awkward and somewhat
Nah, bro,
apparent.
you seem
Yeah.
fine. Like you seem, yeah, man. It was all good. There was nothing I really. I don't think there was any moment during the interview I thought, oh, like you could have done better. I mean, I probably wouldn't be the best person to ask. I'm not really. I've never given an interview myself. But for me, everything looks pretty good. I think just keep doing what you're doing, man. It seems like it comes from a passion and a place of love. So I think all it is just time to you keep blowing up. That's the way I see it, anyway.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Um, so I could go online and see some information about your backstory and who you are, where you come from,
Mm,
but there's nothing that really compares in asking the individual themselves.
mm.
So I just want to ask you, Liam Patel, tell us just can you tell me a bit about yourself, where the story started for you.
So there's a few points I could say, to be fair, but I suppose most notable was that, like, I wasn't. I guess just going back to school, really. I just didn't. I just wasn't really, like, I was a pretty average kid in school. I got decent grades and stuff, but I wasn't particularly sporty. In fact, I was like top three worst in my year at athletics. So, like, if someone said to me when I was, I don't know, like between the ages of 11, 12, and 16 that this is what I'd be doing right now, I would have just laughed in their face. Um, but I knew everything I didn't want to do. Like, for me, that's what school taught me. School taught me exactly what I didn't want to do. But I left school having no idea what um what I wanted to go into. Like, I was still figuring it all out. Um, I went to uni, tried uni for 2 terms, 3 terms. I was doing like occupational psychology. Like, why I chose it sounded interesting when I read it. Out of the choices that were available to me, it
Yeah.
sounded pretty interesting. But when I got there, I knew from the first day. I knew from the first day that, yeah, this is not for me. But I'm fortunate enough to at least be given a chance to even try it. Like, so many people don't even have the option to
Mm,
try going to university. So
sure.
I kind of felt like obligated to try it, just because my parents never had that opportunity given to them. So tried it, hated it, knew from day one I didn't want to do it. Left uni, got into an argument with my parents. I was a bit of a little shit back then as well. To be fair, I was probably the bit rebellious. Um, yeah, kind of, yeah. That's it. Got kicked out of my house for a few months after I left uni. I was just kind of going down the wrong path, like just
Mm,
getting into trouble and just just being in the wrong place at like the wrong time and stuff. And I just joined a gym. I was like, you know what, I need to just, like, it got to a point where I just needed to sort my shit out. And, like, I
yeah.
think the group of friends I was hanging around with at the time, we all kind of felt the same way about our lives. So we're just like, we at this moment in time, we were all just like, yeah, we all need to sort our shit out. And for me, I was like, you know what, it's just gonna start by looking good and feeling better about myself. So I joined Gym Box. That's where I train with my Team 2. That's the
Sure.
team I fight out of. And I remember, like, getting a tour. I think it might have been I think it was an evening, like a Tuesday evening, and it was like Tuesday class was like one of the main classes. It was Gym Box in Stratford, and my first coach and another one of the old fighters on our team. He doesn't train or fight anymore, but he had like a wicked style, like really wicked style. His name's Tai Huang, and them two were hitting pads. and I could hear the sound of the pads being kicked before I got in the room, and I was like, what's making this sound? Like, what is this? Like, what's this bang? I got in, and I was like, oh wow, okay. This is I was like, what's this? They're like, oh, we Muay Thai here, and I was like, I'd never heard of it before. I'd never heard of it at all. I used to do when I was like 7, I think I used to do like Tang Sudo, which is kind of like that semi-contact kind of karate kind of style. You know what I mean? Quite bouncy.
Yeah.
But yeah, one between that, after I finished that, I think I did that for a few years, and after I finished that, I wasn't really sporty at all. So when I found Muay Thai, I was like, oh wow, this is more up my alley. I was like, I like it. I just thought I'll just give it a try just to get fit, get into shape. Like build discipline, and yeah, and I just wanted to see how it goes. I never thought when I first started, like it wasn't kind of like a love at first sight, like, oh yeah, like Muay Thai, this is what I'm gonna do. It took me like I was trying a few different combat sports. I was trying boxing, trying MMA, trying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Got one got one strap on my white belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But after 9 months of training, I just kind of fell in love with Muay Thai the most. And I think for my build, like my legs are super long, my arms are long, like my build just kind of suits Thai boxing as well, you know.
There's two things that you said that I can really relate to. The first
Mm,
one is when you mentioned about where your early stages, early beginnings,
mm,
that school taught you everything that you didn't want to do.
yeah.
And I have realized myself that the older you get, everything
Mm,
you've been told in school, not just school, but
yeah.
right up to university level,
Yeah.
90% of the stuff you've been taught, even the stuff
Yeah.
that's in the textbook, you find that
Yeah.
actually it's just a lie.
Yeah. Oh,
It's not
100%.
it's not true at
100%.
all.
Bro, honestly, like it just makes I kind of realized, I feel like I realized from about 12 years old that I knew I wasn't going to be going down the academic route. I wasn't a bad kid in school. Like I did decent in my GCSEs and stuff, but I just knew that deep down I knew that this isn't the route that I was going to go down, you know? But like, what 12-year old's gonna, like, what adult's gonna listen to a 12-year-old tell them,
Yeah,
oh,
of course,
what they
yeah.
don't want to do, you know?
Hmm.
Like, I was probably questioning my own beliefs and stuff back then. Hell, I don't even know if I had many beliefs back then,
Hmm.
But I think deep down, in hindsight, deep down, I knew that I wasn't going down that route. No.
So it was really at when you started training at Gym Box and you joined that Muay Thai
Yeah.
team, that's where the your love of the sport started really.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. So when I joined Gym Box, I was just joining the members classes. I wasn't a
Ah,
part of the fight team or
I
anything like that.
see.
It wasn't kind of
Okay.
like, oh yeah, you join up, you say yeah, I want to fight and stuff. No, you start off in the members classes, and then my first coach, Carlton Liu, wicked fighter. If you haven't watched him, you got to watch him. Like wicked. He was like my first
Yeah.
inspiration in the sport. And he just said, just enjoy it. He was like, just keep enjoying it. I think after a couple months, I was quite eager. I was coming to sparring and I was seeing people spar. And
Mm.
I remember, I remember Carlton was asking one time, he was like, oh, like, does anyone want to? I think someone must have pulled out from a fight or something, doesn't it? He was like, oh, does anyone want to fight? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And like, I wasn't ready at all. You know what I mean? I hadn't even had an inter club or anything yet. But and I remember just like kind of saying, yeah, bro, just enjoy it, just enjoy training for now. Because when training gets hard, fights get harder and harder. There are days where you don't enjoy training.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Like I enjoy improving, but some days you're like, oh, I don't enjoy training today. You get beaten up, or like you've been working on something for a while and it's just not clicking yet.
Yes,
And
yes, yeah.
I get frustrated with myself easily because I can be a bit of a perfectionist sometimes.
Mm, yeah.
Sometimes too much is something I'm having to kind of like unlearn a little bit, and just kind of focus on just trying to improve day by day.
Was it that when you started the Muay Thai,
Yeah,
one of the things that got you really hooked on it was did it feel very therapeutic having to head back whether you're punching or
yeah,
kicking? It felt like
yeah,
as in the stress, maybe someone's just been annoying you during that day or
yeah,
during that week, and you've got a way of venting it out.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I think not even I think I know, yeah, for a fact that like when you connect
Yeah.
a kick on the pads, and you just hear
The
the
sound.
smack, and
Mhm.
it feels good. That was the first thing. I think that was the
Yeah,
first thing that got me hooked. And I've got quite an addictive personality anyway. So if I really like something, I want to do it all the time.
sure.
You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so that's kind of just how I am. Like, I'd rather I'd rather not put I'd rather put all my eggs in one basket. You know what I mean? I'd rather be like, there is no plan B. There's just plan A. I'd rather not
Yeah,
spread
yeah.
myself too thin. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get you are certain this is definitely for you. This is in your blood,
Yeah, yeah,
basically. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I guess, yeah, I guess in a way, yeah, you could kind of say that. I think a lot of people don't understand it. People are like, oh, like, yeah, what are you gonna do once you finish fighting, and what you gonna like, what are you gonna go into after that and stuff? And like, yeah, it's not that I don't think about these kind of things, but I just don't want to finish my career fighting and go back and think, oh, what if I did this, or what if I did that? You know, like whether I become a world champion, or whether I get to UK number one, or it could happen, maybe it won't happen. Who knows? You know,
Yeah.
but but yeah, I just want to just keep improving day by day, really. Just make sure that when I do finish and I do hang up the gloves, I can look back and be like, I want to look back and be like, I was my favorite fighter.
Mm.
You know,
No.
that's what I'd
Yes,
love
yeah.
to to be able to say. Like, I'd love to be able to watch myself and be like, raw, like
Yes, yeah.
that guy was wicked. Like, that guy could barely be hit. You know what I
No,
mean?
yeah, no, of course.
So many people tried to hit that guy, and like he was just making everyone miss. You know?
Going into more time, I mean, that's not as brutal, let's say, mixed martial arts or even boxing because of
Mm.
your head is vulnerable to
Yeah.
being injured and attacks. Um, there were no concerns about your health at all from family. I mean, I always
Nah.
ask.
Um, I think my mum always gets a bit scared and stuff when I fight. You know, sometimes my girlfriend gets a little bit nervous as well. But me personally, I don't really have any health concerns when I fight. I think I'm quite lucky. Like, the team I fight out of, our head coach teaches us to fight smart. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah,
That's how my coaches have taught me. Fight smart. You know, fight with your, like, yeah, use your brain. That's one saying. Like, oh, just use your brain. You know, you don't need to. If you don't, I personally, I won't take damage if I don't need to. You know, I don't care what people say about my style. If people think I'm running or whatever they say, at the end of the day, I just do what I need to do to win. No more, no less. That's it.
yeah, yeah.
You know, why? On top of the fact that, why are you going to show all your cards if you don't need to? If you can fight a certain way and keep winning, doesn't mean you're not training or improving in other areas.
Mhm.
But when you fight, everyone's watching, right? Especially when you get to a high level, people want to suss you out. People want to figure out how to beat you. People want to knock
Yes,
you
yeah.
out. People want to knock me out. You know what I mean? So why am I going to show all my cards in a single fight if I don't need to? If I can edge a win and do it fighting a certain way and not having to show anything else I've been working on, then I'll do it. You know?
Of course, I can't forget to ask you about your recent win against let me get the name correctly. Back at yes, Kory
Kory
Chettle.
Chettle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
back at
Yeah,
the
Kory Chettle.
MTGP Road to One Championship back in
Yeah,
November.
yeah.
I've asked quite a few other people who are
Mm,
affiliated with the combat sports, but more of the mixed
yeah,
martial arts side of things. These kicks, these high kicks, head kicks, how do
yeah.
you do them without falling backwards, losing your balance? Because that's how
I
you do it
mean,
properly.
yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, like, my head kick needs work.
Are you
Like,
sure?
yeah. Oh no, trust me. Like, my head kick, like, till I'm stopping people with my head kicks, or yeah, that's the way I see it anyway. Till I'm stopping people with head kicks,
Hmm.
then my head kick is gonna need work. Like, you look at guys like Superbon and like Superbon, Superlek. There's another fighter called Compatak. He trains out of Simbi Muay Thai. These are all ties, obviously. These are all ties. But these guys are like dropping people with their head kicks. You know, I can kick high. I can kick high really easily, and I can kick quite fast.
Sure.
But I still want that. I still need to develop that kind of oomph, that like more power based side to my head kicks as well, you know. But I can kick with a lot of volume really easily, you know. And I don't know if that's something that just comes natural to me. I don't know if it's something that maybe came from doing that kind of point style karate when I was a lot younger. No, I'm not totally sure, you know. But all I know is that it's a good skill to have, because Kory was pretty strong. You know, he usually fights at 61, and he came down to 59. Like I know I don't really cut a lot of weight in comparison to like most of my opponents. So I knew him coming down, and and me, like, I'm not usually cutting a lot of weight. My opponent's usually going to have a little bit more muscle mass, or they're usually going to be a little bit bigger than me. We were both the same height.
Yeah, I saw that. I
But
could see it
yeah,
in the
I
cage.
saw
The ring,
I could
sorry.
yeah. I could see at the weigh-in that he was quite dense, you know. And I know like the gym he trains out of, and his coaches, um both lovely guys as well, Dan McGowan and Simon Forrest. That I know they'd make sure he trains hard for it. You know what I mean? So I knew it wasn't going to be an easy fight.
Sure.
I knew that he'd make me work more than most others have been able to make me work. Also, like the height, I think the height, like I'm not always used to fighting people my height. But knowing, I think that win, knowing that I can still make my opponents miss, and who are similar height to me and stuff, and still be light on my feet and still make them miss most of their kicks, and like not really let them do the game plan that they're trying to do on me. It was a small win, and was a small win in my book. But I definitely think that fight highlighted other things I need to work on. You know, like I think many of my fights I've been able to get away with kicking and moving, um, and making the fight like quite easy for myself, which in my opinion is a good thing.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like regardless of what anyone else says. But obviously, like the higher level you go, the harder fights get. It's not just as going to be as simple as kicking and moving. Like, although I do say for me, like if my opponent's stronger than me, um, hits harder than me, better in the clinch than me, whatever it is. If I'm faster on my feet than you are, and you can't catch me, it don't matter if you're stronger than me. You know what I mean?
Mm.
If I can get out of the way, and my footwork's better than yours, then cool, you can be stronger than me. You can be a better clincher than me. Try and catch me first. You know what I mean?
But
Is that Tom and Jerry, right? Jerry usually wins the battle, right?
yeah, yeah. But you say that the fight showed
Yeah,
you there's a lot of things you need to work on.
yeah, yeah,
Mm, not not to discredit what you're saying, but
yeah,
you most people say, well, what do you really have to work on? Okay, well, this is
yeah,
my opinion anyway. People can disagree with me if they wish, if they want to,
yeah,
but you won the fight, which speaks for
yeah,
itself.
yeah, yeah. And me, I don't like. I got a split decision in that fight, but when I watch it back, in my opinion, I don't even think it was split decision. Like I spoke to a couple other people about it as well, and they didn't think it was split decision either. You know, um, yeah, I did what I needed to do to get the job done.
Mm.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
Kory was strong, started well in round one. Um, I wanted to try and suss him out in round one. Towards the second half of round one, I'd say I started to come back, but he caught me with a good elbow at the end of the round. Um, I didn't really feel rocked by it, but when I watched the video back, you can see like I stumbled a bit or lost my footing a bit. So obviously it must have been a pretty effective elbow. So you could say, yeah, he took that round, and then round two and three, in my opinion, I can see I just outworked him. You know
Mm.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you one, I think I might have kicked like three times for every single kick that he landed. You know what I mean? So it's like the multitude, the accumulation, the volume. I think that's what got me the win in that fight. But I know I can fight better than that. You know what I mean? I know I can fight. I know I can fight better than that.
You still believe personally within yourself, your personal opinion, that
Mm.
even though you won that fight,
Yeah,
and even when people look at that fight and they look at your
yeah,
fight record,
yeah.
you still believe that still that wasn't your best performance in your personal
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah. 100%, 100%. Like I can see like a lot of I can see things I've trained kind of start to come into kind of start to come into play a little bit,
Hmm.
especially in like the third round and stuff. Like most people don't really. I didn't use my hands a lot. I don't really use my boxing a lot, but I think he was surprised when I did use my boxing in round three because people just know me as the guy who likes to kick and lean back and move. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm good at. That's what I
Sure.
think. That's when people think, oh yeah, Liam, yeah, he kicks and he moves and he's got a good lean back. You know what I mean? But I'm always trying to add new tools to the game. And my head coach always instills in me, and I'd say instills in my teammates that we have to be. You got to keep adding new tools to the game, because it's not just about being good at a UK level. You know what I mean? Like there's you like UK level is level one. That's the way
Yeah.
I see it. You got European level, and then you got world level,
Yes.
and then you got the top 10%,
Hmm.
top 10% in that world level. So UK level is just level one. You know what I mean? I've still got a long way to go. You know?
Okay, you started out in Muay Thai. You
Yeah,
got a really good fight record. You still got a lot of fights ahead of you.
yeah,
With that fight record, and if it if it stays that way, that
mm,
you keep bringing in the wins,
yeah.
would you like to stay in Muay Thai? Or would you like to branch out to the other sports, mixed martial arts, boxing, or BJJ? But I think the main one, the reigning one at the moment,
Yeah.
probably is mixed martial arts. I mean, would you be happy staying Muay Thai? Would you like to test the
Oh
waters and
yeah.
probably
I'd
branch
I'd
out?
I'd I'd stay Muay Thai 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't have the passion for anything else.
Mm.
Like I enjoy watching MMA a little bit, but even then it's only highlight clips. Like boxing, I'm a kicker. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
I like kicks, I like knees, I like elbows. Like they're the things I like about Muay Thai the most.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So boxing doesn't make sense for me. I just think if you're gonna try and be top level in something, you have to love it. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or you have to be either that, or you have to be obsessed enough with it to try and
Yes.
go all the way. Because
Hmm.
if you don't love it, you can be obsessed. You can still kind of conjure up an obsession with it to take you all the way. But MMA, boxing, BJJ, I don't love it, nor am I obsessed with them, any of them. I just love Muay Thai. Like fighting is just fighting for me is just a part of loving Muay Thai.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I love Muay Thai too much not to fight, not to not to try and improve, and not to try and showcase my skills. And but I love it too much not to see what kind of fighter I can become. You know.
So diving a little bit deeper, I was gonna ask about making weights, cutting weight, and all those things.
Yeah.
But if we take just a basic scenario, like you now beat Tory, isn't it?
Kory Chettle.
Kory
Yeah.
Chettle. Is
Yeah.
that Irish? The
No, no,
name?
no, no, no.
It's
He's
English.
he's from England. Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure. As far as I know, anyway. Yeah. He's from England.
So a fight like that one,
Hmm.
just you yourself as a Muay Thai kickboxer, how do you go preparing for the fight? As in, how do you go about making weight, your diet,
Hmm.
and how do your overall fight camp? What would it look like?
So, okay, so diet and nutrition, I leave that to a guy called Peter Miller. He's Instagram name's Condition Nutrition. I have to good to shout him out. He's helped me a lot. I've never really had a problem with making weight. My metabolism is super fast anyway, but it's nice to have. I like to have everything as calculated as possible if I
Sure.
can. I mean, obviously, there's certain things you can't control during fight camp, but like nutrition and stuff when it comes to making weight. I mean, now I'm at a stage where I know what I need to eat at points of the week and stuff. I've been with Peter enough to know to not have to to not need him all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I might be with Peter maybe the last like 3-4 weeks, the last month maybe, or the last 3 weeks, just to make sure everything's running smoothly. But up
Sure.
until up until then, I'm pretty good at sorting stuff out myself. And but yeah, in terms of my routine, when I'm training for a fight, I'll usually have strength and conditioning Monday morning, Wednesday morning, and Friday morning, and then I'll hit maybe like 10 to 15 rounds of pads straight after strength and conditioning with one of my coaches, Stephen too. He's like one of my pad men, one of my coaches. And then I'll go to work, I have a client or a class, and then I'll come back to training from 2 till 4, sometimes 2 till 4:30 for my main session. So I double up. I usually double up in the morning when I got strength and conditioning. S&C Muay Thai, break, work, whatever I need to do. Then I'll go back to training in the afternoon, and then I'll go work in the evening. And that's usually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then Tuesday and Thursday, they're our main sparring days. So I'll come in the morning. I usually train with Steve. I'll do like another 10 to 15. I'll do 10 to 15 rounds of pads, 5 round shadow, 5 rounds bag work. And then I'll go to work, come back in the afternoon for sparring. When it gets closer to a fight time, we usually hit like 5 rounds of pads, 3 to 5 rounds of pads after sparring as well, on top of clinching about half an hour every day usually. The regime changes up depending on what our head coach thinks we all need to work on the most, but that's kind of like a rough guide. And then when I'm not feeling like too shattered, sometimes I'll just play around and have a little play on the bag in the evening, or shadow boxing in the evening before I teach class. Because 5 rounds of shadow boxing is only 15 minutes if you're doing 3-minute rounds.
Yeah.
So sometimes if I got 15 minutes, if I get to eat food, get to work, I'm not feeling too battered, I'll just do 15 minutes of shadow boxing before I start teaching. You know what I mean? Just to get in, it's a couple extra rounds.
Oh,
You know?
you didn't
Yeah.
mention that. You teach as well, so you coach
Yeah,
other
yeah, 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 yeah,
athletes.
yeah. So I coach as well. Yeah, I coach
Oh,
coach. I coach at a gym in Knightsbridge called Boxcentric. It's a studio that focuses on like small group classes.
Knightsbridge in
So like
London.
yeah, 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 Knightsbridge in London.
Why haven't I know the area well? I mean, I work
Yeah,
there, pass through there.
yeah.
Why haven't I seen that place or you
It's
noticed it?
new. It's only been open a year, and I think the marketing's only just come into play recently as well.
I see.
But yeah, they
Okay.
focus on like small group classes between 6 and 10 people. So you
Okay.
get a bit more of a personal kind of a. It's hard to correct people when you got like 20 plus people in a
Mm,
class. You know what I mean? You can't give all your attention to everyone.
sure.
But when you got 6 to 10 people, you can kind of look at and tell people when they're doing certain things wrong, or when their body mechanics aren't right, when they're kicking, etc., etc.
So your last fight was what November last year.
Yeah.
When can we be seeing you fight again? I mean, I've not been keeping
Hmm.
close track on it, but the MTGP Road to One Championship, I
Yeah.
think we're yet to as it sees it the semi-finals or the finals.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the finals. I think, yeah, it's the
No,
finals.
that's finals now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the finals. Actually, I think it's the finals that's next. I think it's Nathan Benden and Craig Coakley in the final.
I s- oh
Yeah, yeah, because Nathan, yeah,
yeah,
Nathan
no, it
beat
wasn't. Yeah,
Nathan beat George,
yes,
and Craig beat Natty. So yeah, it's the final now.
but
I
yourself,
honestly don't know who I got. I don't even know who I got for that fight. It's a tough one. I think it's
yeah,
about who it's going to be about whoever's better on the day. Both of them
uh,
been around for a while. Both of them are really hungry. Yeah, I think whoever can get into a flow state better, or whoever
mm.
can get into a flow state quicker on the day, that'll be the person who takes the fight.
But you yourself, when can we see you
Yeah.
fight again?
So I'll be on April 15th. So that'll probably be when the final is, I think. April 15th in London. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It'll be Muay Thai Grand Prix.
As that date, as in have MTGP, as in made it official, will be that day because I don't think I've seen anything like that online.
I
And,
think
and
I
for
think
the
it, I
day, I
think it's
mean,
gonna be the 15th.
yeah, I mean, I know who is going to be
Yeah,
fighting the finals, but
yeah.
the actual day where it's going to be, when it's going to be, and all
I
those
don't
things.
know where it's gonna be, but I know it's gonna be. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be on the 15th of April, or
Okay,
around, or some point in April.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
Any idea who your opponent's going to be?
I actually have no idea.
Wow.
I just
Okay.
kind of leave. I just kind of trust my coach to get me the right people.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like the right fights. Um, I never really ask my. I've never. I don't think I've ever asked my coach. Oh yeah, I want to fight. I want to fight this person, or I want to fight this person. I think the one person, yeah, the one person who I wanted to fight who beat, and mainly just because he beat a few of my teammates was Jono Chip Chase. And but I knew I had to wait a little while. I had to train up really hard for that fight. So but yeah, it happened, got the win. But yeah, I think that's the only time where I've ever been like, yeah, that's who I'd like to fight this person at some point. You know, I let my coach do the matchmaking, and all I got to do is sharp and train.
Look, a bad habit of mine is I always end up doing these interviews so late.
It's all good.
Before we
It's all
wrap
good.
up, is there
Yeah.
anyone, family, friends, or anyone affiliated with your training or Muay Thai that you want to give a shout out to?
There's too many people, but obviously I have to shout out my team to my head coach, my coaches, Philip, Matty, David, my first coach, Carlton. He was the first person who proper believed in me and said I could go all the way if I wanted to. Wicked fighter, like I think out of everyone on the team who I enjoy watching the most, he was always the one where like he was wicked fighter, you know. And I think everyone on the team, I kind of you kind of take certain characteristics or you look at certain things that they're really good at and you kind of just like take it and make it your own, you know. So I think there's not one person on my team who I'm not inspired by in one way or another. You know what I mean?
You never forget those who are actually by your side from the very
Yeah,
beginning. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah,
exactly what you
yeah,
mean. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I know, 100%.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. If you stayed with us till the end, Liam, thank you so much for coming on, and apologies
Thank
once
you.
again for keeping you waiting so long.
It's all good. Don't worry, it's all good. It's a good
Guys,
chat.
we guys, we enjoyed the episode. Please don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. You can also catch the episodes on all the audio platforms, Spotify, iTunes, and on Google Podcast. Liam, once again, thank you and have a good night.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you very much,
Peace.
man.
Take care.
Take care.
Thanks
See
for
ya.
having me on.